What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining me as always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these videos. Check out my sponsors in the description below, and make sure you download my free PDF for some portrait tips. Using the Tamron 150-500mm lens is quite an experience, and although you can't call it fast, the f5 to 6.7 variable aperture is nothing to sneeze at for such a long focal length. On an APS-C camera system like Fujifilm, the lens has an insane full frame equivalent of 225 to 750 millimeters. And 750 millimeters at f6.7 is really extraordinary. As mentioned, the lens is very large and heavy at 3.77 pounds or 18 billion kilograms for my Canadian friends. It's not light. Although I used it a few times without a monopod, I highly recommend not doing that because it's a bad idea, trust me. My shoulder still hurts from holding it up, aimed into a tree, waiting for a stupid bird to take off. And then, of course, the second I moved it an inch to ease the intense back pain, the bird would fly away every single time and I would miss the airborne shot. But the major girth of the 150-500 is not just due to its focal length, but also because of its build quality and features. Now, I won't bore you with every spec because you can easily look that up, but it's weather sealed. It has a fast, quiet linear motor for autofocusing, and it has 3 different image stabilization modes, or as Tamron calls it, VC, which stands for vibrato control, vibrating contraption, virus contraception, victual consumption, variable colonoscopy. No, wait, I'm pretty sure it stands for vibration compensation, and it rhymes. But believe me when I tell you that this lens has no need to compensate for anything. Anyway, the lens has 3 VC modes: standard, panning, and framing priority. The lens also has an ingenious locking mechanism for the zoom ring. In addition to a standard lock, you can lock the zoom lens at any focal length by simply pushing the zoom barrel forward. Now, I really love this feature because as I lugged this thing around with me, I was able to quickly lock it into place and walk from one spot to another without the lens zooming itself out all the way due to gravity. A small white line appears around the barrel when you use what they call the flex zoom lock, which makes it really easy to know that you have indeed locked the lens at a certain focal length. The 150-500 feels really solid, and it has a large Arca Swiss tripod mount which can be removed if you want to torture yourself by hand holding it for any length of time. The zoom mechanism is smooth and oversized, plus it doesn't require excessive turning to go from 150 to 500 millimeters, which is really appreciated when trying to capture an elusive subject. One of the most impressive features of this lens is the close focusing capability of 23.6 inches at 150 millimeters and 70.9 inches at the 500 millimeter end. Tamron's linear motor works very well, even on a Fuji camera. I'm kidding. But overall, I was very impressed with the fast and accurate autofocus, which is also super quiet. I had really no trouble at all locking onto birds, bees, or humans with the fast and accurate AF. In challenging situations like photographing a bird in the midst of tree branches, bird priority AF and vibration compensation worked well together. Check it out. For a lens with an f5 to 6.7 variable aperture, the autofocus speed and accuracy is really quite brilliant. Overall, the image quality from the Tamron 150-500 is excellent. All the images in this review were taken using a Fujifilm X-T5 or an X-H2, so you're witnessing 40 megapixels in all their glory. Some of these, especially the B photos, have been cropped a lot, like 100% or more, and they still look really good. At 500 millimeters, the quality is very good, but I found that the images were a bit better when not zoomed out all the way. As with these photos of what I think is an American robin. However, I'm really not sure because that's what my 6-year-old daughter told me they were. One of the pleasant surprises of this lens is the very pleasing bokeh and the nice subject separation. Now, regarding image quality, however, there are a few caveats. First, a zoom lens like this, of course, will not be as sharp as your Fujifilm prime lenses or a constant 2.8 zoom, for instance. But the trade-off obviously comes in the sheer ability to zoom in on subjects that are ridiculously far away. And putting aside the pixel peepers among us, the results from this lens really are fantastic. The Tamron 150-500 is good for so many things, but it's important to note that with a slower lens, the applications will be limited. For instance, this lens is clearly designed for sports photography, outdoor sports that is. Now, if you're planning to shoot indoor sports, however, this really is not the best lens for you because at f6.7, you're going to need to use such a high ISO that the results are probably going to be pretty mixed. Even outside in the daytime when shooting birds in a very shady tree, I had to bump up the ISO a little bit in order to get a fast enough shutter speed to freeze those little buggers as they flew. So outside is where this lens shines. If you're shooting sports, nature, even portraits, you're going to be super happy with the performance as long as you have enough ambient light to keep that ISO down to reasonable levels and that shutter speed up. Now, I did try to use the lens in a very bright room in the daytime, and even in that situation, I was getting ISO 6400 and 12,800, which really didn't give me the best results. So just keep all of this in mind as you consider this lens, and don't take this as a slight against the lens itself. It's just a fact of any lens which has this focal length and aperture combination. And that brings me to my main point of this review. Right now, you can get this lens at $12.99. Now, it's usually $13.99, but Tamron has a $100 instant rebate. And this is where the Tamron really excels. It's an amazing value. Compare it to the Fuji 150-600, which retails for $19.99, or even the Fuji 100-400, which will set you back a hefty $1,899 or 6 billion Canadian dollars. And you can see why this lens is an awesome choice for APS-C'ers using Fujifilm cameras or Sony cameras if that's your thing. It is a tremendous value for the dollar. You're getting image stabilization, linear autofocus, lots of weather seals, excellent image quality, and even a rubbery lens hood that will make your lens look even more impressive when attached. Well, that's all I have for you today. I hope that you've enjoyed this review, and if I've convinced you to go out and pick up a Tamron 150-500, please use my B&H or Amazon links below. Every time you use one of my links, Ansel Adams gets his wings. So here's wishing you an amazing day. Go out and take some awesome pictures, my friends, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.